Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It's Good Tuesday, which means we have all the good news we could find to give you hope in humanity again. This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, father and daughter news podcast, where we look up our stories right before the show starts. We just got caffeine in our body and we learned to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into those good news headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Good Tuesday, Venezuela. Earthquake survivor rescued after nearly 190 hours under rubble, or 8 days. And largest and most detailed picture taken of Milky Way's center, with millions of stars and thousands of worlds. It's still muted. If you're going to mute yourself, you have to unmute yourself for the headlines.
How embarrassing. All right. On the headlines, good day, mates. In Australia, Gloucester Tree reopens to climbers in Australia after 3 years of repair. Sorry for the bad Australian. And archaeologists in France dig up a jar packed with tens of thousands of Roman coins, almost 2,000 years old.
Chinese breakthrough could make desalinated seawater cheaper than bottled water. And mushrooms help improve sewage and E. coli from the Devon rivers in England.
Yes. And more antiquities. Scientists have found surviving fragments of a 2,000-year-old philosophical treatise near Mount Vesuvius. I won't say Pompeii, but near Mount Vesuvius, I'll say that.
In my culture news, coffee is linked to a significant new side effect, says a massive study.
Oh shit, is it good news though? It's good news! And it's National Dive Bar Day. I don't know why they want to go to a dive bar on a Tuesday, but maybe they have music. I don't know. But it's National Dive Bar Day. And it's also National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. So you can walk. I can't walk with you, but you got to walk somewhere, right? You can't just lay around all day. It's July 7th, 2026. I'm Before Coffee.
And 776, you said. Yeah, that is the day.
7/7/Tuesday. Well, next year's palindrome day will be in July, right? It'll be 7/27.
It's one of those days where we can actually have Europeans and Americans not confused. It's the same.
Oh, because
7/7.
7/7.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's a real thing.
What do you? Is it April or is it? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's worse with lower numbers. Yeah.
Humans are just full of.
I think the Japanese have it the right way, anyways. It's year first, and then month, and then day. So it gets.
How about this one? You write out the day of the month, like 20, and then you physically abbreviate the months, like 20 May, and then put the last two of the year. That's all you really need. Like 20 May 26. That's all you would need.
I mean, that is what the Europeans do, right? So
no, they put a number there. I'm
just saying.
Get the number out of there. The number is cumbersome. It does not make it easier to decipher by putting the number there. We have letters. Why not use them? I'm just saying. Oh, my keyboard doesn't have letters. Yes, it does. It's full of them. I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway.
I suppose there's some people who do that. Let's go to our first segue, which is a mixed metaphor.
Actually, I think the government and the military does it. 20 May. It'll read like that. What do we spin? Sorry.
Mixed metaphor.
Next.
This is for my first story. Coming out of Venezuela, there was a terrible earthquake that happened 2 weeks ago, or a week ago at this point.
2 weeks.
I don't think we didn't cover it, but it did happen, and a lot of people.
covered it.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah, it was a Monday morning story.
It was 2 weeks ago, so I don't remember yesterday. Anyways, there was a miracle because somebody survived 8 days under rubble. This is on Telesur, written by, I don't know, Telesur, I guess. On the morning of Thursday, July 2nd, one of the most complex and moving rescues was consolidated after the devastating earthquakes of magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 recently registered in Venezuela. Hernan Alberto Gil Flores, 47 years old, who had been serving as a vigilante for a year and 8 months at the Galerías Playa Grande shopping center in the Urmare sector, La Guiara state, was extracted from the ruins of this building after remaining buried under the rubble for almost 190 hours. Gil's ordeal began on the afternoon of Wednesday, June 24th, when powerful earthquakes shook the Venezuelan coast. The strength of the seismic doublet completely displaced the security gate where the guard fulfilled his working duty, leaving imprisoned and buried under an estimated weight of 174 tons of rubble and twisted metal structures. The first certain indication of survival occurred unexpectedly on June 27th, thanks to the presence of the place of Alan Madrigal, a member of the Benemerita Costa Rican Red Cross, who carries out his first international mission in an earthquake. Just a day earlier, on June 26th, Madrigal turned 33, received the news that he would travel to Venezuela. And then there's a post, social media post, where they say stuff. Isolated from the outside world, in an extremely small space, the vigilante's own voice detected between the destruction became the finding that initiated the rescue work, driving and concentrating the efforts of the specialists in what would be one of the most difficult operations of the current emergency. The Costa Rican specialist was not looking for the vigilante at the time of discovery. The rescuer went to the shopping center because a neighbor of the area moved him to the place with the intention of trying to locate another person. It was during that search that he ended up locating Hernan among the collapsed structures. After the key question is a survivor here who can make any sound, the response that emerged from the ruins was a short yes, according to Alan himself. After this fight, yes, I can make sound. After this finding, a technical and human deployment was activated. The added efforts of Venezuelan rescuers, along with others from Chile, the United States, Portugal, Mexico, El Salvador, Spain, Costa Rica, and Venezuela. The operation was led by a Chilean team and coordinated uninterrupted work of 114 hours in hostile terrain. To keep Hernan's vital signs stable along the enclosure, lifeguards managed to supply him with hydration and liquid food through a probe precisely introduced by the loopholes of the structure. However, the ultimate rescue required enormous challenges. An attempt by any means of safe deposit failed due to collapses when the rescuers were just a few meters away from Mr. Gill. To avoid a total collapse, the environment was carefully reinforced with wood and iron. In the face of impossibility of advancing along the aforementioned route, the crews were forced to open an alternative road and drill a direct gap towards the surveillance booth. At first, the hole was too narrow to extract the worker, forcing operators to employ additional hours of millimeter labor to expand the excavation. Finally, after intense hours of work and several maneuvers, Hernan Gil was safely removed. So today we celebrate the life of Hernan. We celebrate the greatness of the human being when he unites for one end to save another. Venezuelan President Delcy Rodriguez wrote on social media, who thanked Venezuelan rescuers who, along with the valuable support of international rescuers, put their body, time, and soul into this mission. After being removed, the survivor was immediately treated by medical teams in a disaster area in order to stabilize their bodily functions. He was subsequently admitted to an ambulance of the Venezuelan Red Cross for immediate transfer to a hospital in the region. So far, authorities have not provided any official share of Hernan Gil's situation or detailed the injuries he suffered during the collapse. What was confirmed is that the survivor was removed alive, immediately evaluated by the medical bodies at the scene to stabilize his vital signs, and moved in an ambulance of the Venezuelan Red Cross to a care center. Beyond the technical deployment and complexity of the structure, Hernan Gil's rescue becomes a symbol of resilience and humanity in the midst of a catastrophe. In a scenario dominated by destruction, their response from the bowels of the earth and the union of so many nations working side by side, the courage and surrender to save a life. His return to the surface represents not only the reunion with his own and the victory for rescue teams, but an impulse of hope for the nation that, in fact of adversity, still maintains faith and expectation of finding more lives among the collapsed structures. So there is your inspiring end. Thank you, whoever wrote this story, for the very hope and kindled ending to the story.
Mm.
Yes, I'm down here. Please help me.
That's terrible news, but good news among terrible news.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy the people that call it a miracle, and I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Let's do the mixed metaphor. Earthquake is shaking your world till it turns upside down, where minor victories seem like miracles. And we see this all the time. My entire village burned to the ground, but God saved my cat. Oh, okay. God started that fire so to save your cat. That's your logic. Got it. That's not a miracle.
I think nobody in here said that in the story, by the way.
No, but that just happens.
God was mentioned.
It happens. Yeah. It happens so much. It's like, a miracle! Everybody in my neighborhood is dead, but my cat is alive. God loves me. No. If God was doing anything at all, it was a tragedy. You had to see all the dead people around you. Anyway, sorry. That's why the metaphor. That's why the metaphor. That's why the metaphor. I'm explaining why the metaphor exists, not why the story exists.
Our next story is about the most detailed picture of the center of the Milky Way ever taken. And actually, you can show this picture on the stream anyways. Let me find my new slide. There it is.
The center of the Milky Way. That's our galaxy.
Yes, the most detailed photo of it. So we have plenty of pictures of it, but this is the most detailed as of yet. This is by Andy Corbally on Good News Network. It took a new and special space telescope to parse out each one of these individual stars gleaming in a dizzying mass at the center of our own dear Milky Way galaxy. The European Space Agency ELSLID telescope, orbiting 1 million miles from Earth at the second Lagrange point, an orbit it shares with NASA's James Webb telescope. The probe took 9 of these photographs in visible light while pointed at the galactic center for 26 hours straight. Damn. It shows the incredible density of the stars located at the center. 60 million in just a snapshot of the sky, the size of your average full moon. But it wasn't aiming for the stars per se. Maybe. Rather, the planets almost certainly to be orbiting them. That's right, they found not just suns, but planets too. It was never built with science in mind, Dr. Eamon Cairns, an astrophysicist at the University of Manchester, reminded The Guardian. But it has proved to be a superb facility for the work. This data fires the startling pistol in a new age of exoplanet discovery, where we go from knowing about 6,000 exoplanets to finding more than 100,000 across the galaxy. Put aside any notions you have about humans, finding a new place to live, or looking for aliens, and exoplanet astronomy is still the most exciting aspect of the field for the average person. GNN reports on exoplanet study includes such worlds as one almost as big as its star, another that orbits 2 stars like Tatooine from Star Wars, some which don't rotate and have permanent dark and daytime size, one with the density of a marshmallow, a gaseous giant with clouds that turn to stone, and one that's shaped like a lemon where it rains diamonds. That's not made up, it's really what happens on these planets. Even still, as Dr. Curran said, the EUCLID, I actually don't know how to say the name of the telescope. It's EUCLID. 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 I have no idea.
Euclid.
Was built to study dark matter and dark energy. It was not made to find all the planets in the center of the Milky Way. The universe is believed to be made up of 5% regular matter, 25% dark matter, and tends to clump around galaxies and may even be responsible for coalescing them. And 78% dark energy was believed to be fueling the expansion of the universe. Through infrared light, it is more appropriate for studying these invisible forces spread across many cosmic acres. EUCLID's visible light camera is designed to image large chunks of the night sky over many hours to track star movement. This will give information on the forces moving them, even the ones that can't be seen. However, it also provides an exceptional method of seeing out exoplanets using the microlensing method of detection. The way this works is through an observational phenomenon called lensing. When viewing a star located behind another star, the gravity of the nearer star bends the light coming from the farther star, making it appear brighter. If that lensing suddenly increases in intensity, it's often because an orbiting exoplanet passed the star at its closest point, so close that its gravity intensified the light's distortion. For this reason, EOSLID is believed to be well positioned to coordinate the location of tens of thousands of exoplanets, each one ready for closer examinations with a telescope like the James Webb or Hubble. This satellite telescope was launched in 2024, so it's only been up there for 2 years. So who knows what else we can discover in the next coming decades, right? That we can use this telescope for. But there is your starry story about the center of the Milky Way.
All right. Another thing I got to comment on here was I was looking up the origination of the word Milky Way. It has nothing. It's purely an accident that the word way is in there, right? I was thinking maybe that's something to do with way, W-H-E-Y, but it doesn't. But the name itself translates into Greek spilled milk. So the name Milky Way itself is a metaphor. So therefore, our goal is like milk. Our goal with the Milky Way, if there's milk in the sky, there must be a large nipple at the center of the universe, right?
That's the only reason.
Just to take that metaphor a little bit farther, right? Are we looking for a big nipple? All right, let's have it. I was looking up a video there for that part.
I must find the milky nipple.
Yeah, let's do the shorter stories. What?
All right, let's roll our next segue.
Yeah, let's do the short story first.
Rolling the segue on my head.
Good news, getting harder to find, man. Haiku about the tree. I think I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree, or something like that. GoodNewsNetwork.org, the majestic Gloucester tree. Not sure how you pronounce it. I think it's Gloucester, Gloucester, Gloucester. That sounds like a British pronunciation. Reopens to climbers in Australia after 3 years of repair. Of course, Britain named most things in Australia. And one of Australia's premier wine regions, a woody tourist icon, closed for 3 years and has reopened for the locals. So it's Andy Corbley from Good News Network. Why was it closed? The second tallest tree, or the fire lookout tree in the world, the second tallest fire lookout tree in the world, climbing the Gloucester tree is something of a rite of passage for locals and visitors of Australia's far southwest. Not far from a massive landlocked coastal sand dunes at, oh my goodness, D'Entrecasteaux National Park. That's a big long word with an apostrophe in it. Residents of the former timber industry town of Pemberton loved little more than watching sunrise and sunset from the observation platform 200 feet up the Gloucester tree. That's a long climb. I don't think I've climbed that high. Yeah, I probably have, but I didn't mark it and know for sure. Since 1947, a 250-year-old eucalyptus tree, or kari tree, has worn a curving ladder of pegs stuck into its trunk, which once upon a time were used by foresters to survey the vast kari forest for wildfires. No harnesses or ropes have ever been provided to those looking to climb the tree, a strange relic of bygone pioneer era of safety first society. Yes, no harnesses or ropes, but I think you can bring your own. I don't think they're stopping you from bringing your own harness. It is a magnificent view, said local government president Don L. Bougie. I would imagine it would be a really 200-foot tall tree. To watch the sunrise through the canopies of the trees is absolutely incredible. Then in 2023, the tree was closed because of safety concerns, dealing a blow to the local tourism industry, which relies on outdoorsy types who visit looking to enjoy long-distance hiking trails with rich forest ecosystem, multiple national parks, and the area's wine and agricultural operations. Yeah, watch out. Don't drink that wine and then try to climb the tree. Engineers in Aboris repegged the tree along with another of the similar age and height called Dave Evans Bicentennial Tree. In 2023, it was eventually closed while they evaluated how to best address structural issues. Recently reopened, a new observation platform has been installed just over 100 feet up, where the one 200 feet or 61 meters up the trunk remains closed. Well, it's not the same bill at 200 feet as it is at 100 feet, man. Are we above the clouds at 100 feet? I don't know. Still, there are still no harnesses or ropes. Again, there's no harnesses or ropes. Do these people even know what harnesses are? Harnesses you wear on your body. You can bring a harness and you can bring a rope. And there'd be stuff to clamp to so you don't fall. Anyway, climbing is done at your own risk. Even with a harness, is done at your own risk. It ain't safe, necessarily perfectly safe with a harness. You can still fall and break your leg or something. Although it takes some nerve, it is substantially safer than alpine skiing, which kills or injures dozens of people every year, which is absurd. That's an absurd comparison because you have to compare the number of people who do alpine skiing to the number of people who climb trees that are 100 feet tall. And I guarantee you the people who do alpine skiing is higher. Not a lot of people do as a hobby. Hey, you want to go climb a really tall tree with no safety harness? It's safer than skiing. No, it ain't. It ain't safer than skiing. Shut up. All right, there's your story. Oh, sorry. There's more to it. Tim Foley from the Department of Biodiversity Conservation and Attractions, the BCA, told ABC News that he recognized how important visitation driven by trees is to the community. Ensuring work was done right to avoid future closures was paramount. On an Australian level and probably on an international level, they're pretty unique. So we're encouraging people to come visit the site and also other amazing things you can do around Pemberton. Okay, several misnomers and what do you want to call it, urban legends in there. One of those things is, it's safer to climb a tree without a climbing harness. It's safer than skiing. No, it ain't. It's not safe at all. You get 50 feet up and fall, you're dead. You don't even have to go up 100 feet. That's the second misnomer. The second misnomer is you're closing it at 100 feet as if 100 feet is safe. It ain't. 100 feet. Fall from 100 feet. See what it feels like. So I don't know why they're closing it at 200 feet. You're just as dead at 100 feet. No idea. Maybe it's just really unsafe. Again, they keep acting like climbing harness needs to be provided by the people who redesigned the tree. No! Bring your own climbing harness. Rent a climbing harness. Actually, you can't. I guess you can rent them. But as long as they don't get ripped or something. But there's a story. A couple of misnomers there I needed to correct. No way alpine skiing is more dangerous than climbing a tree 100 feet without a harness. There is absolutely nothing more dangerous than climbing a tree 100 feet without a harness. It's very, 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 very unsafe. I have no idea why this person who wrote the article thinks it's not, but yeah, it's not safe at all. Not even safe. Not even slightly safe.
You made the point already.
Yeah.
10 times.
I just wanted to understand. I just want to clear up. This is not my opinion. That is their opinion. My opinion, as a climber, an experienced climber, I can show you my certificates. Wear a harness. Otherwise, you may die.
Everyone understands that.
Oh no, that stick broke and I died. I'm sorry. What's that?
My haiku is, in the green embrace, Firewatch tree stands tall and proud, guarding skies anew.
Right on.
That's what it's originally for. It's for somebody living up there and going, hey, there's a fire.
Yeah.
Brigade.
Yeah, you're a forest ranger. Hey, I can see all the valley beneath me up in this tree.
Probably
it's
trained
awesome.
to climb trees too.
Yeah, and
you can't. There's a lot of things humans think they can just do because it doesn't sound complicated, right? I get to climb a tree. That doesn't complicate it. It's like there's definitely training that goes into climbing a tree.
Whether
or not you can take a class in it, I don't know. But there's people out there who are experienced enough.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, there's some people that are natural climbers. There's some people that are just natural climbers. Look at those people that just climbed the Empire State Building and got married, right? They're just natural climbers. It doesn't scare them. Like they've got that climbing gene, right? They got everything from the chimpanzees got except for the feet that can grip branches, right? Maybe they even have those. I don't know. That would be some kind of human mutation to have. Feet that can grip branches. You can hang upside down and shit. That would be fucking awesome, right? All right, next story. Another. Did I plug? I did a plug, right? I know I opened it. Okay. Way too late on the applause. One more story and we'll do another thing. Archaeologists in France find a jar and it's 1,800-year-old and it's full of Roman coins. How come I never find anything like this buried in my yard? Of course, there are going to be Roman coins in Maryland, but who knows? Yeah. Maybe some turn of the century, some Revolutionary War stuff, right? This was a slave plantation.
Roman stuff is 1,000 years old, and you're like, it's not the same comparison as like something from Civil War. I'm just saying, it's not the same range of time, so it's not going to be as valuable.
Plantation, but it was more or less I think it was right at the edge of the water here was a tobacco house where they packed stuff and sent it overseas to England, probably back in the 1600s.
I'm pretty sure where you live used to be just unmanaged forest.
No. This is definitely Sotterley Mansion is right next to it, so I know it wasn't just
it's not right forest. Next.
And there's a sign at the end of our road that says this wasn't a state, so it wasn't just unmanaged forest. It's right next to a river. It's like a navigable river with a deep that didn't even have to be dredged. And all kinds of natural harbors around here too. So yeah, it was definitely used for shipping something overseas or to the other colonies. Anyway, why don't I just dig a hole accidentally and come up with a bunch of buried treasure? That would be so awesome. I don't know. Something to dream about. ZMEscience.com. Archaeologists in France dug up a jar packed with tens of thousands of 1,800-year-old coins. They stamped dates on them, so they know how old they are. Archaeologists in northern France have uncovered an ancient neighborhood beneath the town of Senon. Just keep digging. This is from ZMEscience.com. Two-door Tarita. Two-door. Not a two-door sedan. Tudor. Tudor Tarita. Tudor Tarita. Great.
We heard the story, please.
Archaeologists in I'm scrolling. Why do I do something when I'm scrolling? Archaeologists in northeastern France have uncovered an ancient neighborhood beneath the town of Senon, where they have found 3 ceramic jars filled with Roman coins. The hoard is huge, numbering at least 25,000 bronze and copper coins from the 3rd century.
That's a lot.
Discovery was made during a routine excavation. What's a routine excavation? I don't even know what that is. Well, we're gonna do some routine excavations today. What the hell does that even mean?
It's scheduled. We're gonna excavate this region that we already know has old ancient ruins in it. That's
okay. All. Well, now the surprising find offers new. Well, it makes it sound like this is a normal thing they do in France. Hey, time to excavate.
They probably do. I mean, like yet again, right? Europe is I'm just saying Europe is an old place, so there's a lot of old stuff there. So yeah, they probably routinely excavate things.
The only people who routinely excavate would be archaeologists. Now the surprising find offers new insight into how people in the late Roman Empire stored and managed their money. The Dig, led by France's National Institute of Private Archaeological Research, which is a long-ass acronym, is INRAP. INRAP, that worked for me. Spans 1,500 square meters. It has peeled back the layers of Senon's past, revealing how the settlement evolved from a Gallic village into a thriving Roman town. And eventually it vanished in fire. It was a city before Rome. At the lowest layers of the site, archaeologists uncovered traces of old buildings such as pits, ditches, post holes post holes, that's a normal word, that once supported wooden walls and clay structures. According to INRAP, the tightly packed structures, sometimes more than one structure per square meter. Wow. One structure per square meter. A square meter ain't that big. Show that Senon was already a densely built settlement before the Roman conquest. Fly, about half dead, landed on my hand and just crawling around in my hand. It's like, Too cold for you, fly? Wherever you went. These traces date to between mid-2nd century BCE, when the region belonged to the Mediomatrici, a Celtic people whose capital was Devodurum Mediomaticorium, modern-day Metz, France. We even know where the capital city was. After the Romans under Julius Caesar conquered the Gauls, they had a lot of Gaul. Everything changed, and Sinon entered a new phase of expansions. Archaeologists identified more than a dozen small limestone quarries, some nearly 3 meters deep, carved beneath the houses and later repurposed for storage and domestic use. These extraction pits fueled a construction boom that lasted centuries. Yeah, the climate was great, so we put down roots. That's what happened. By the late 1st century CE, which is, I guess, after BCE, right? We used to call it AD when I grew up. Now they changed it without letting me know. I'm going to bitch about that again. Sinon's recent excavated neighborhood took on its enduring shape. 2 paved streets bordered rows of stone houses with lime floors, hypo-cost heating ovens and cellars. Courtyards spread behind them. Sometimes there's workshops. It was a town, okay? It was a town, okay? Let's just say it was a town. But the good times didn't last long. Layers of ash fell on fires that swept through the district. One blaze around early 4th century marks a turning point. It was during this turbulent time, perhaps between 280 and 310, that someone buried 3 large amorphae of coins beneath the floorboards. Let's talk about the coins. Each vessel lay shrunk into the ground, their necks level with the floor. Inside were tens of thousands of bronze and copper coins. This guy was hoarding it, bearing the faces of emperors like Victorianus, Tetricus the First, and Tetricus the Second. You want to stop with Tetricus the First? The rulers of the short-lived Gallic Empire that broke away from Rome in the 3rd century. The first hoard held an estimated 83 pounds or 38 kilograms of coins, which corresponds to about approximately 23,000 to 24,000 coins. My God, that must, geez, that's a lot of money. I'm just in cash alone. What would that be worth? Vincent Genevieve, a INRAP numismatist, a guy who collects coins, told Live Science another amorpha may have contained up to 19,000 more. Altogether, the hordes could exceed 40,000 coins, enough to pay dozens of soldiers per month, but archaeologists caution against seeing them as emergency stashes. Contrary to what one might think at first look, it is not certain that these are treasures that were hidden during a period of insecurity, according to translated INRAP statement. Instead, the vessels may have functioned as household banks, places where money was stored, withdrawn, or deposited over time. Seems like the same thing, buddy. I thought that's a very not much of a difference. Oh, I'm not storing this to hoard it. I'm storing it so I can use some of it every once in a while when I need it. It's the same as hoarding it, by the way. I just don't even know why you even make that distinction. Of course, that's what you do when you hoard it. You hoard it until you need it. That's the way that works. The evidence supports this view. In 2 cases, archaeologists found coins stuck to the outside of the jars because someone added them after buying the vessels, but before selling the pits. That doesn't mean anything to me. They could have just spilled while they were burying it, for all you know. Or maybe an earthquake happened. You don't even know. The openings of the jars remain accessible from the floor above. Nearby stood a Roman fortification dating from the same period, just 150 meters away. Soldiers of local administrators helped manage the deposits. The speculation about it is wild, actually. It's just wild. You don't know anything about why these coins. It might have been a kid, for all you know. The blaze that consumed Sinon's homes at the start of 4th century spared no one. Yet residents rebuilt, old cellars were reused, broken columns and temple stones repurposed into new walls. The reused materials suggest that the residents had already abandoned the city's major public buildings. For another half-century, life flickered on in this patchwork town. Then sometime around the middle of the 4th century, flames returned. This time the inhabitants did not come back. The houses collapsed, their courtyards filled with rubble. The coin hoards, once easily reachable, were buried deep and forgotten. Over the centuries, orchards grew above them. By 18th century, the site was farmland. Only today, as modern construction expands, as the ancient neighborhood emerged again. There's a story update, which is one last paragraph. Since the initial unearthing, a staggering 40,000 Roman coins beneath Sinon, France. French heritage laws swiftly placed the massive 3rd century hoard under the state ownership. That's right. We're going to take that from you. No matter how much work you put into it, it's our shit, and we're going to keep it on the museum somewhere and never give you a dime. The thousands of bronze and copper pieces were transported to painstaking cleaning and numismatic analysis because the discovery is part of a preventive evacuation triggered by a homeowner's plan to expand his property. So this wasn't even necessarily a planned dig. It's just a homeowner going, I'm going to expand my property, put a shed over there. Let me dig a hole. And then, oh shit, I found something. Anyway, researchers at the National Institute at the NRAP worked quickly to digitally preserve the ancient 1,500 square meter neighborhood in 3D. With the coins safely removed and the digital blueprint secured, the evacuation site has now been filled in and returned to the homeowner. So good for him. He doesn't get to keep the coins, though. Not good for him. So, poor guy. I wonder if he just went digging it himself. He would have said, oh, I bought some coins. They're mine. They're mine. They're mine. And there would have been a court case or something. But since archaeologists found it, it's like, good news anyway. Haiku about coinage.
Amidst cobblestones, ancient whispers in the dust, cones of Rome, my wealth, I'm rich! Sadly, they're never able to sell these things, right? There's no Roman coin to euro transfer.
If I ever found something like that in my backyard, man, I'd be like Yosemite Sam, the guy, the prospector from the yeehaw, shooting off my freaking six guns, pichu, 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 yeehaw, yeehaw.
Sadly, it was the archaeologist that found it, I guess.
Yeah, no Yosemite Sam, no prospector, just some boring academic guy going, oh, look what they found for the government of France, and they will do nothing with it. So they would just put it in a museum, clean it off, and go,
coins.
Look, old coins. Yeah. So somebody's tragic wealth storage system from 280 was
imagine
discovered.
The what's the word I want to think of when you put money and then they add money to it in the bank. What is that called? What is that called?
A kitty?
No, it's like you get a savings account and they give you interest. Imagine the interest he would have occurred.
Oh,
ancient Roman times or ancient gold times, I just say, yeah.
These weren't gold coins and they weren't silver coins, so what was their actual value? We don't even know. They might have just been pennies at the time.
I think in some cases it has been, yeah. Anyway,
that's a penny. That'll buy you a stick of gum. That's all it's worth. Anyway, sorry.
Our next segue reminds me of a song for my next news. I wonder if I can stop this every time. Was I on the right computer? There you go. Our next story is coming from China, where they have made a breakthrough in desalination that could be cheaper than bottled water. This is from Vishwam Sankaran on The Independent. A new solar power breakthrough in China has improved the efficiency of desalination using sunlight, an advance that could lead to the drinking water production from seawater becoming cheaper than bottled water. Amid a global freshwater shortage, water treatment and reuse is becoming essential, but the technology behind it is still heavily relies on fossil fuels, making it unfeasible to harsh regions. While solar thermal evaporation is a promising method to treat water in such areas, its application has been limited by inefficiency and production constraints. Now, scientists from the Chinese Academy of Sciences have developed a new three-dimensional structure that significantly improves the efficiency of this technology to convert seawater to drinking water. The structure contains tightly linked polymer chains with hollow-shelled structures that provide a record evaporation of 8.5 times higher than the rates previously reported for the technology. This unique structure maximizes sunlight capture and decreases the energy consumption for evaporation by nearly 50%. That's huge! This structure exhibits 90.2% broadband solar absorption and reduces the energy consumption of evaporation by 45.7%. scientists wrote in a study published in the journal Advanced Materials. So if you'd like to learn about this new seawater desalination, you can check out Advanced Materials. And then there's actually a cute little picture they provided here of what goes on, but let's just say where they're desalinating it is in this kind of corkscrew kind of environment. The tests showed that the materials used had good durability and reliability during long-term use. The excellent photothermal conversion and water transport capacity deliver such outstanding evaporation performances, said Wang Dan, one of the authors of the study. Researchers then built a real-world outdoor desalination device with the material. Under natural sunlight, the system produced 20 liters or 5.33 gallons of fresh water per day, with water quality meeting World Health Organization drinking water standards. So it wasn't going to kill you. This all set up taking about only 0.75 square meters. Not even 1 meter of space, and they're desalinating water. 5 gallons of water. Could produce enough water to satisfy the basic daily drinking needs of about 10 people, scientists noted. Desalinated water from the device also successfully used to irrigate a small field. The produced water successfully supported the full growth cycles of various crops in a 5 square meter demonstration plot with lower cost, scientists wrote. The water from the setup enabled the full growth cycle of spinach, corn, and Chinese cabbage, hinting that the technology could support agricultural irrigation in water-scarce regions. Researchers estimate that after 2 years of operation, the cost of water produced by this technology would be lower than that of commercial bottled water. They hope the new material may offer a practical solution for sustainable freshwater production in regions facing water shortages. Yeah, let's stop people from getting dehydrated. Woo! We love water. We love drinking water. And there is my story.
Okay.
New desalination technology.
Right on. Reminds me of a song. The song it reminds me of is Salt of the Earth by the Rolling Stones. So we're talking about salt. As one verse
put all that
goes.
salt on the earth.
All right, here's one of the better verses. A very good song, by the way. Keith Richards sings the beginning of it. One of the rare Keith Richards vocals. Oh, here's one great verse. I like this verse. Raise your glass to the hardworking people. Let's drink to the uncounted heads. Let's think of the wavering millions who need leaders but get gamblers instead. So that's the Rolling Stones from 1968. One of your more profound songs is the Rolling Stones were the anti-Beatles in many ways. They were down and dirty when the Beatles were wearing them clean white suits. Yeah. Rolling Stones, the rock and roll band from England. The ones that just plugged in and started jamming.
My next story is from, speaking of England, they're putting mushrooms in Devon rivers and saving sewage from E. coli. And they're these mushrooms, yes. This is on the BBC. Mushrooms could be used to filter out harmful waste and sewage in rivers after a trial showed a certain fungi can destroy a type of bacteria that is a risk to human health. The fungi, called turkey tail mushroom, was used in part of the river in Devon and managed to filter out 80% of E. coli bacteria during the trial. E. coli is a type of bacteria which can be harmless and shows up in intestines of healthy people, where certain types of E. coli can be really harmful, causing vomiting, fever, and severe health problems. During the trial, bags of turkey tail mushroom were stacked across the riverbed, filtering water through their roots, which are called mycelia. Mycelia acted like a sponge, catching the E. coli bacteria to prevent it from going into the river. Water industry regulator Ofwat has given Anglian Water £1.5 million to use fungi to clear up rivers because the trial worked so well. They were like, great, do it now. We're not going to wait. We're not going to pussyfoot around it, right? Let's put it in. Let's start cleaning the water. In another trial in Lincolnshire, A similar barricade caught 83% of phosphorus and 95% of nitrogen from rainwater running off farmers' fields. Farmers spread these chemicals as fertilizers, but when they wash into watercourses, they can cause thick algae to form, starving fish of oxygen. Yes, eutrophication is what it's called. It's hoped the mushroom barriers could be placed near sewage overflow pipes to remove pollutants released during storms. Joshua Mercer in Anglian Water said the fungi could act as a second line of defense to normal sewage treatment. If this work can have positive impact on our water quality, then it's benefiting everyone, Joshua said. When my daughter gets to my age, it would be great if people can just go and swim wherever they want. That's right, the water in the UK is so dirty, people don't swim in it, so that's a huge indicator of water health there. If you thought mushrooms were only good for a fry-up, and now filtering water, think again. Mushrooms can be used for packaging material too. Mycelium has been used by big furniture and tech companies for packaging because it's robust and also relatively environmentally friendly and breaks down naturally within weeks of use. The fashion designer Stella McCartney came up with a really fun idea of a few years ago. She created the first ever clothing made of mushroom leather using mycelium. Mushroom leather, unlike other fake leathers, is entirely natural and biodegradable, which is the thing about real leather. Right. Engineering companies have also made building blocks for construction out of compacted mushroom spores and sawdust. So it looks like mushrooms really are the champions of veg when it comes to being multi-purpose, except they're not vegetables. Mushrooms are actually living beings. I know, so are plants, but they are closer to meat than they are to vegetables. They're closer to
humans in DNA. Yeah. We share more common DNA.
But like how they are as actual things, they're not vegetables, right? They don't do anything similar to a vegetable or fruit or anything.
We have a reciprocal relationship with plants that we don't necessarily have with mushrooms, right?
Yeah. But there is your story on the great uses of mushrooms, and yet another great use. I mean, something they naturally do, which is filter. They filter the earth. They filter, they're always growing on dead bodies and clearing those up. So mushrooms have always been very important.
Help you hallucinate. You don't like your life, just try to explore parts of your brain that you haven't explored before. And that also very dangerous. You don't know what you're eating. The song it reminds me of is, the song it kind of always reminds me of when you're talking about clean water, which is the song Cool Water by the Sons of the Pioneers. And you probably know this one. Cool water, clean water, clear water. Oh, it's better if you say that water part. If I say clear water.
It's not gonna work.
It'll work, man. You just got to give it a shot. Anyway, while being in the desert, and you're like, oh my God, there's no water anywhere. And every time I see water, it's a mirage. That kind of awful feeling. And then
every time I want to go for a swim, I realize the water's full of E. coli. That's how people in England feel.
All right,
people in the Netherlands are jumping in their canals willy-nilly, and I can't even dip my feet without getting E. coli. Our next segue is going to be a limerick.
One of the worst
tricks. Only one story here, right?
Yeah, one of the worst tricks. What do we roll?
Limerick.
Oh my! All right, you got the work today. I've been getting by easy.
I'm always doing the work. Don't worry.
And one of the cruel tricks that the desert does play is that quicksand trick, right? You see a bunch of water, and you're like, oh, water. And you just take off in a dead run, and right at the edge of the water is quicksand. Poof, and you're stuck there now, and you die, and you sit there in a buzzard circle, and pick out your eyes and stuff. Yeah, it's a great way to die.
Good news Tuesday. I'm glad we're talking about that.
Yeah, we're not going to pretend the world this is from SmithsonianMag.com. This is about Pompeii, or at least Mount Vesuvius. Let's dig into it. Scientists had deciphered a surviving fragments of a 2,000-year-old philosophical treatise. Let's see what its philosophy was 2,000 years ago. This is from Ellen Wexler of Smithsonian Magazine. The papyrus manuscript, I was right, was part of a vast library preserved by volcanic ash. One of them things volcanic killed everybody in sight, gave them no air to breathe, but it also sealed things and like it were in a vault. Now the remaining passages, which examine ethics, knowledge, and human nature, are accessible for the first time since 79 CE, which is where we are now. We're CE. We're not BCE. It was so much easier when it was AD and BC. I don't know why
it's
they
about the
changed
same. You just don't. It just changed.
It's exactly the same thing. There was no reason to change it, but they did. Whatever. When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79, volcanic ash buried a vast library in the Roman town of. So it wasn't Pompeii. It was the Roman town of Herculaneum. The hundreds of papyrus scrolls trapped inside were only discovered more than 1,500 years later in the mid-18th century, but when scholars tried to unroll them, the carbonized manuscript crumbled to dust. Not cool. They got exposed to air, and air's like, it's our turn. We're gonna turn this to dust as fast as possible. Every generation that followed faced the same dilemma. They could wait for technology. They could wait for a technology advance, abandoning hope of reading the ancient texts in their own lifetime, or they could try to open the scrolls themselves and risk destroying them. In recent years, researchers have settled on a third option, using advanced imaging and artificial intelligence. They're deciphering the scrolls without needing to unroll them at all. Yeah, you just take a little picture of the inside of differing layers, and you penetrate it one layer at a time, and you read what's written on there. I mean, you try to reassemble them outside. Okay, it rolled here, it rolled there. It takes some time, but at least you're not destroying it as you're unrolling it. The Vesuvius Challenge was accelerated the process. The Vesuvius Challenge, it sounds like a sporting event. It's time for the Vesuvius Challenge in this corner. It's Cyclops. I don't know. The Vesuvius Challenge has accelerated the process by turning into a public competition, complete with cash prizes. Wow. I don't know if that's a good idea, right? I can't make people rush to get the cash prize. That's what it says, damn it. Give us the cash. 2023, a student won $40,000 for deciphering a single word purple from an unopened scroll. Wow. That's a nice contest. Later, contestants would identify 2,000 Greek characters from one scroll. And there, that would have been worth $700,000. And the title of another, which was worth $60,000. Holy crap, good work if you can get it. Now, for the first time, researchers have recovered all surviving text from a single scroll. The nearly 5-foot-long segment includes roughly 20 columns of ancient Greek philosophy, accessible for the first time in 2,000 years. And what does it say? It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, that's not what it says. The tech actually looks like magic, but it's not. Brent, well, okay. Thank you for telling us it's not magic. I was really confused about that.
We actually just discovered this scroll is actually going to reactivate magic, and everyone's going to start casting spells tomorrow because they found the scroll.
That's right. And the witch trials are going to start all over again. He's watched. The tech actually does look a lot like magic, but it's not. Brett Seals, a computer scientist, University of Kentucky. I guess, I never think things look like magic, and I never really liked magic when I was a kid. I still don't like magic. I know it's a scam. I know it's a trick. It's not. I just deceiving my eyes. I know you didn't make the Empire State Building disappear, Mr. David Copperfield. Any of that shit. It is remarkable. Yeah. Well, the Empire State Building's still there. I've been in it. It didn't disappear. It is remarkable. Means of higher calling, the restoration work lost voices from the ancient world through the text, and that wrote these fragile, enigmatic scrolls. I don't know if they're all that fragile. They lasted almost 2,000 years. Known as Herc, 1667, the scroll discusses the nature of human knowledge, the ability to distinguish good from evil. Ha ha. Yeah. And he didn't need any kind of Christian religion to do it. Isn't that amazing? And the merits of acting on reason rather than on impulse. So we didn't need a Christian religion to do it. Idea central to the philosophy is of Stoicism. The manuscript also references Astrocreon, the nephew of the Stoic philosopher Chrysippus. The Library of Schools was found in the 1750s at a lavish villa that may have belonged to Julius Caesar's father-in-law. Inside were some 1,800 papyrus fragments, the only surviving collection of its kind from the Greco-Roman world. Based on snippets of recovered text, many of the scrolls appear to contain works by Philodemus, a Epicurean philosopher who lived in Herculaneum during the 1st century BCE. Epicureanism is a philosophy. Epicureanism is a philosophy devoted to the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. Hey, I'm on board with that one. Stoics and Epicureans were rival schools. Stoics were like, you must have pain, apparently. Pain is good. I don't fucking know. Federica Nicolardi, the lead papyrologist, I love that. I want a job like that. For the Vesuvius Challenge, tells National Geographic's Sam Keane. But debates and polemics between them were common. I imagine. Feeling good is good. No, feeling good is bad. No, feeling good is good. I don't understand where you're coming from on that. Well, don't you know what guilt is? No, because I feel good all the time. It's got to be a great discussion, right? Although the team has deciphered all surviving portions of the P-Herc 1667, more than half of its contests were lost to previous generations, failed attempts to read them. Yeah, turn a page and it turns to dust. Oh, I can't read dust. Dust is hard to read. It won't fit in the copy machine. According to the team's preprint, the 19th century researchers accidentally destroyed some of the scroll's outer layers. Renewed efforts in the 1960s and 80s caused more damage, revealing only small legible fragments of the text. The scroll's diameter, 1960s and 80s, they said, oh, them people were stupid. Let's try it again. And they did the same thing and made the same mistakes. What survives today is only a small portion of the original scroll. Although the title and the upper portion of the text have been lost, we now follow the author's argument across consecutive lines of columns. Some quick facts. Attempts to enroll the Herculaneum scrolls in 18th century. Carmelo Pardini, a Roman artist, tried to read the scrolls by cutting them in half, copying out any visible text and scraping away layers. Antonio Piaggio, a Vatican priest, designed a technique involving weights on strings which used opens hundreds of scrolls, damaging or destroying them in a process. Way to go, moron. Great process you invented. Didn't do any good. Seals has been working on virtually unwrapping the scrolls since early 2000. The process involved imaging the bundles of papyrus using technology similar to CT scanners, isolating them in thin layers, and then stitching them together. In 2023, he partnered with 2 Silicon Valley investors and launched the Vesuvius Challenge. Yes, and of course, that's where the money's coming from. It has to be. The project's leaders didn't expect to make so many breakthroughs in such a short time. In recent years, the frontier had belonged to primary computer scientists, but now, Seals hopes that they can start passing the torch to historians and papyrologists. I consider this to be a seminal moment because we are going to, from now on, be talking more about the text and we're talking about the technology. So let's get down to the philosophy of the times. And one of the philosophy things says maybe something about returning your library books or something, but we're not getting a whole lot of advice from these texts. Okay, we're reading these, we're translating them, but we're not telling you anything they say. That's not really encouraging. Okay, so by our own nature, the author appears to refer to human rationality and our innate inclination towards goodness, echoing Stoic philosophy. Yes! But Stoic, again, just saying that pain is good, I guess. Perhaps suggesting use of listing the one's inner drive or leading and crucial principles for seeking knowledge and virtue. Claudio Braga, another papyrologist, says in a statement. So there's kind of this Stoicism philosophy, one of your older philosophies in Western civilization, actually. So there you go. Maybe this was the guy who originated it. Maybe it was Jim Stoicism. That was his last name.
So if I can quickly just go on a side here. Stoicism is all about being disciplined and moral, whatever that is, right? And that's all it's about. Whereas the other thing you're talking about, which I already forgot, Erudites or whatever, they're all about fuck discipline, do whatever you feel like. Yeah, if you want to go jump naked into the canal, go do it right now. Whereas Stoicism, I guess it's similar to hedonism. Stoicism is more like you made a promise, you have to do that, and then whatever, stick to your principles and that kind of stuff. Stoicism is quite still alive to this day in a lot of people's lives. And look at that. They knew right from wrong, and they didn't need a New Testament or Old Testament, right? These are Romans.
They
They're Greeks.
persecuted. Yeah, the Greeks and Romans. Greco-Roman, it says, right? So it was Greco-Roman type philosophy styles or whatever. It was in that area. That's what it says. I wasn't around.
Anyways, our limerick that I wrote.
Didn't need a religion anyway. Didn't need a religion to say God is this and God is that and God's going to do this necessarily. It just did it because, hey, this is the right thing. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Ancient whispers of wisdom revive as the scrolls come to life. They thrive. From ashes they soar, with the past to explore. In history's arms we dive.
Yay!
Into all the ash because most of the scroll got turned to ash.
Yes.
Whoops. Whoopsies.
Oh, why is you laughing? I sent you a video, so very short. I think if you start it.
Now it's your turn to write a limerick. It's a limerick off.
Oh no. All right.
So our culture news is going to be about everyone's beloved beverage, coffee. This news story was actually sent to me by Omlin, and I decided it's a good story, so it's going to be on Good Tuesday Day. This is a story by Thomas Westerholm on MSN, coming from Newsweek. Your morning cup of coffee might be doing you more good than just waking you up. According to a new study, coffee also has a positive impact on the person's microbiome, improving their health and the gut-brain axis. Researchers from the University College Cork in Ireland examined how regular consumption of coffee, both caffeinated and decaffeinated, affects the gut microbiome. You're telling me the first time I had Italian coffee, I was like, all day long. And I'm like, I don't feel so good. Because it was rewiring my microbiome. The study showed that the coffee notably increased the presence of good bacteria like Escherichia sp and Cryptobacterium curtum in coffee drinkers. Both bacteria are thought to play a role in eliminating unhealthy bacteria and stomach infections. That is true. I don't get a lot of stomach infections. Decaffeinated coffee drinkers, meanwhile, showed improvement in learning and memory, which may have been a result of components like polyphenols and that provide cognitive benefits. Caffeinated coffee, meanwhile, was linked to reduced feeling of anxiety as well as improved attention. Coffee is one of the richest sources of dietary polyphenols, yet most researchers don't focus entirely on caffeine. Corresponding author of the study, John Cryan, told Newsweek in an email, "We wanted to understand how coffee as a whole affects the microbiome, metabolism, mood, and cognition. One of the biggest surprises was the decaffeinated coffee produced many of the same effects as regular coffee. That suggests caffeine is only part of the story. The other coffee compounds, particularly polyphenols, may play a major role in shaping the gut-brain axes. Coffee has previously been shown to have health benefits. One 30-year-old study of women over the age of 70 found that they were significantly more likely to be living well if they consumed coffee during the middle age. Another study found that drinking black coffee reduced the risk of death from all causes. You will not die. We had the fountain of youth this whole time. The study from the University College of Cork, meanwhile, showed that coffee has a positive impact on gut health, a major topic of interest. Prebiotic sodas are gaining popularity, and gut health is increasingly linked to a number of health outcomes, including mental health. Yeah, it's almost like if you can properly process nutrients from your food in your stomach, which is the organ for doing that, you will live longer. Who would have thought? Getting food makes you live longer.
My diet is perfect. Yay, my diet! Anyway, sorry.
Gastrointestinal cancers are on the rise as well, particularly in American adults, which has drawn more attention to how people should take care of their gut microbiome. Our findings reveal the microbiome and neurological responses to coffee, as well as the potential long-term benefits for a healthier microbiome. Ryan said in a press release, "Coffee may modify what microbes do collectively and what metabolites they use. As the public continues to think about dietary changes for the right dieting balance, coffee has the potential to also be harnessed as a further intervention as part of a healthy, balanced diet." More biologically complex, Cryan added that many dietary factors, coffee is the best in moderation. That's right. Don't start your coffee cleanse now. Everything in the world, in nature, in science, and technology is better when it's in moderation. Okay? So that 1 or 2 cups of coffee you have a day, good. Do not exceed your caffeine tolerance because that's not good, right? Drinking so much coffee that you overdose on caffeine is not the solution to health. We've also found that habitual coffee drinkers show higher impulsivity and emotional reactivity than non-drinkers, which highlights the effects are not universally positive. Wow, I don't even drink coffee, I'm already emotionally reactive. According to Cryan, he is hopeful that research progresses that might be able to use diet and microbes to more precisely support overall health and well-being. The main takeaway is that coffee is much more biologically complex than we tend to think, Cyan said. Did I say Cryan? Oh wait, his name is Cryan, but they typoed his name here at the end. Cryan said, it may simply be a stimulant. It's not simply a stimulant. It interacts with the gut microbiome, immune system, metabolism, and brain simultaneously. It does so many different things. It's amazing that we even made coffee, really, if you think about it. Maybe it is the fountain of youth, right?
It barely survived the trip across the Atlantic. Think about it that way.
Somebody out there was like, yo, what if we took this seed from this plant, fermented it, and then put it in our water? You know, who did that? Or maybe they started crunching on the seeds first, and they were like, wow, this seed, because you can crunch on coffee seeds, and it does make you very hyperactive in general. I think it was probably just like the similar following from tea, right? What if we put this in water, like, you know, infused it somehow? Wow, it's even better now than just eating the bean. Quote unquote, the bean. Anyways, that's my story.
All right.
That might have been too fast. I don't know.
The African bean. No, I finished quite a while ago. My limerick. When you wake up to a cup of joe, not only does it keep you from going slow, yes, the magic bean will wipe your colon clean while sending cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's risks low. That's a lot of words. Woohoo! Come with another word for all that.
Woohoo! Time to press all of these at once. Great limerick. Okay. Let's roll our segue for our final section here, This Day in History.
I was trying to figure out why it was called Joe. I guess that's where I am with that one. Why is it called Joe? And why does Joe get away with being a name for coffee? Now, what does Joe feel about that?
Metaphor or simile for This Day in History?
Metaphor or simile. Let's pause whatever I was watching there for... my screen locked up again. Okay, that's cool. I'll just write until my screen unlocks. Still not done unlocking yet. Let's see. Okay, now maybe we can do something. It's Day in History, and that screen is no longer there, so that will take a second to open it. Sorry about that. I accidentally closed the screen while I was opening another one. This Day in History. Oh, lordy lord. Here comes the long. Okay, I can start to scroll now. We'll go back to July 7th in the year. Good lord. Keep scrolling. Come on. There you go. I knew you could do it, computer. It's like the little engine that could. The year 1307, King Edward of England died on his way to subdue the new Scottish King Robert the Bruce. Of course, Robert the Bruce kicked ass and won the Scotland's freedom from England, which was later codified by the into England by the Act of Union, blah, 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 blah. But in 1307, King Edward I was known as Longshanks, died on his way to pursue Robert the Bruce. 1438, King Charles VII of France issued the pragmatic sanction of Borgias, restricting the rights of the Pope, and in many cases making the Pope's jurisdiction subject to the will of the king. Hey, Pope, I'm the king, not you, as idiots battle over whatever invisible man they decide to believe in. 1770, a Russian fleet destroyed an Ottoman fleet in the Battle of Sesame on the Aegean Sea. So, a Russian fleet destroyed the Ottoman in 1770. I'm not familiar with that war. Why were the Ottomans fighting the Russians? Maybe they just had a land territory dispute.
Religion, probably.
Yeah, just a Russian, just a bunch of stupid royalists battling over resources which they thought were limited, or whatever. 1906, Satchel Paige was born. A professional baseball pitcher earned legendary fame for his many years in Negro Leagues. Is believed to have been born in this day in Mobile, Alabama. He lied about his age. He did lie about his age. I think he pitched in the major leagues when he was in his 60s. Like, he actually pitched for the Oakland A's when he was the A's, where the A's were at the time, in his 60s. 1937, Chinese and Japanese troops clashed near Marco Polo Bridge outside of Beijing, launching a second Sino-Japanese war. Chinese and Japanese been fighting for a while for World War II. The rape of Nanking, very famous. 1946, Mother Frances Xavier Cabrini became the first U.S. citizen to be canonized by the Roman Catholic Church. Yep, you can only be a saint if you're a nun. If you're just an ordinary citizen, you got to do this God thing before we can make you a saint. I'm not even sure what you got to do to be a saint. Probably just got to die. That's probably all you got to do. They canonized Pope John Paul II for absolutely no reason. He performed no miracles. He was just a guy, but they canonized him. So again, they've lowered their standards. 1878, the Solomon Islands became an independent nation. Named after Solomon. 1978, Czech-born tennis player Martina Navratilova defeated Chris Evert to win her first of her 9 Wimbledon single titles. Probably been surpassed by Serena. 2005, the London transit system was struck by a coordinated suicide bomb attacks that killed 39 people and injured more than 700. Doesn't say who's responsible, who claimed they were responsible. I'm going to probably blame the IRA. I don't know. Who did it? Don't know the suicide bomb attacks. Killed 39 people. Tragedy today in 2005. You taking a freaking ride in a train, you end up dead. That's not cool. 2011, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. The final adaptation of J.K. Rowling popular children's book series had its world premiere in London. So it's been 15 years since the last Harry Potter premiere. 2019, led by Megan Rapinoe. That's right, the U.S. women's football team, or soccer as we call it here in the U.S. of A., defeated the Netherlands. Oh, poor you, Netherlands, to win its 4th World Cup as there is
Give me a sec.
things. Led by Megan Rapinoe, of course, U.S. women's soccer team pisses off all the men in America that are feel inferior to their own whatever biology or whatever their problem is. Oh my God, women are winning, and it pisses me off for some reason. If you're insecure and you hate the women's team, you're kind of a pathetic loser. And this has been a thing for a while now. It's been a thing for a while to hate women athletes. And it's really pathetic. And there's a lot of these people out there. Oh, she can't possibly be a woman. Anyway, our featured event today is the commercial introduction of sliced bread. On this day, 1928, bread loaves that had been pre-sliced with the first commercial bread slicer were sold for the very first time. Advertised as the greatest forward step in baking industry since the bread was wrapped. Well, I just set them up for their own comparison. I think this must be where it came from. And their other motto was a fine loaf sold a better way. The loaves were produced by the Chillicothe Baking Company in Chillicothe, Missouri, and cut using a slicing machine designed by jeweler Otto roll wetter. So if you just want to know, invent the slice of bread, that's the guy. His name was Otto. I'm not sure he was part of the Ottoman Empire, but his name was Otto. Other featured events: the Hawaiian Islands were annexed by the United States Congress on July 7th of the year 1898. William McKinley paved the way for the island to become a territory and later U.S. state. So they annexed an island way out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, probably for its military. Don't forget, William McKinley had gone to war with Spain. Marc Chagall, born on this day, 1887, French artist Marc Chagall created images based on emotional and poetic associations. The early works, which predated surrealism, were among the first expressions of psychic reality in modern art. So he did this. 1887, he was a modernist. Let's call him that. Hey, Michael Howard, Baron Howard of Lympney, British politician, born in 1941. American boxer Izard Charles, born in 1921. Giancarlo Menotti, Italian composer, born in 1911. Frank Bunker Gilbreth, American engineer, born in 1868. Those are your birthdays. A lot of names I don't know. Our national day calendar is National Day of Rock and Roll. Not sure how it pertains to July 7th. They just picked a day on the calendar. But maybe there's a reason. National Macaroni Day, National Dive Bar Day, National Strawberry Sundae Day. Strawberries. Yum, yum, yum. Nice cooling off thing. Ice cream and strawberries were meant to be together. National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. So I'm going to tell you, you need to take a walk, even if it's across the room. And I'll take a walk, too.
Maybe it's still daylight by the end of the show.
National Koi Day. Those bottom feeder goldfish. Those koi.
That for some reason we don't eat, because you can eat them, and people are like, "Oh, koi's disgusting." It's like whatever.
Yuck! But we eat catfish, which makes no sense. Yeah. They just spend all their time at the bottom. Yeah, National Strawberry Sundae Day, National Dive Bar. That's everything today. It is for your mispronunciations, your haikus, your limericks for July 7th, 2026 on Before Macaroni and Cheese and Strawberry Sundae. Oh, sorry, macaroni. No
just
cheese.
Just macaroni. Make some art.
Macaroni. You can put cheese in it if you want.
Edible art.
No, make a macaroni salad with all kinds of little surprises, little bits of whatever in it. National Before Macaroni and Strawberries. Let's do it again. That's all your crap for July 7th, 2026. On Before Macaroni and Strawberry Sundays. There, I'm done. No more peeps out of me.
Strawberry ice cream is melting hearts one scoop at a time. So I'm not a huge fan of strawberry flavor myself. I'd rather have chocolate. I'll have to pick.
My favorite thing to do with berries is just eat them right off the frickin' vine, or just eat them right off the bush, man. It's the way.
But usually, strawberry ice cream is not the same as an actual strawberry.
I got a shitload of wine berries here.
For our international observance, UN observance, we have World Kiswahili Language Day. That's right. Kiswahili, which is from Africa. If this page will open, I can even read about it. Kiswahili is celebrated on the 7th of July every year. It's one of the most widely spoken languages in Africa and the world. Over 200 million speakers. That's almost the entire population of the United States, for example. It is a vital tool of communication and integration across East, Central, and Southern Africa. It serves as the official language for the African Union, the SADC, and the EAC. Kiswahili is more than a language. It is a vessel of African identity, unity, and culture. That's true. Language is very important for those things. So celebrate some Kiswahili and learn, I don't know, Luga ni utu wa Ngongo wa utamanduni mishkamano no mandelo, which literally says language is the backbone of culture, unity, and development. And I apologize for my Kiswahili. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands and Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. as we tie up another Good Tuesday. I hope you feel inspired by humanity and our continued existence to just persist and persist. We'll be back tomorrow for Wacky and Weird Wednesday, which will be giving you all the weird and wacky news that's been going on to re-enliven your bewilderment at our constant existence in the world. If you're not already following Before Coffee Podcast on Twitch, please do that. The higher that number goes, the happier we can be. And you want to spread happiness, don't you? Same thing for Before Coffee Podcast on YouTube as well. And thank you to all our Before Coffee supporters who are supporting the show on Patreon.
Right on.
See you for Whacking Weird Wednesday, and here's our mic drop moment.
Right on.
The greatest thing since sliced bread.
Love some sliced bread.
So this is it, huh, folks? Couple of 100,000 years. The fucking pyramids, for Christ's sakes. Panama Canal, the Great Wall of China. Even a lava lamp. To me, is greater than sliced bread. What's so great about sliced bread? You got a knife, you got a loaf of bread, slice the fucking thing!
French people just rip bread, they don't even slice bread.
And get on with your life. Out
The French don't have that
walking the
expression.
streets.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. And follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.